The neon lights of Tokyo blurred past my hotel window as I stared at my phone in disbelief. Lucy's voice echoed through the FaceTime call, casual as ordering coffee. "I'm done with my job, Mark. You'll handle the finances while I travel and build my brand." I forced a grin, watching her perfectly filtered face on the screen. "Sounds amazing, babe. Enjoy Bali or wherever. I'll hold down the fort." Her sudden spiritual awakening, I thought sarcastically. Right after she discovered Instagram had a monetization program. 3 days later, I returned to our suburban Chicago home with a signed contract worth $2 million in my briefcase. Mr. Sato's tech company had chosen my security software over 50 competitors. I should have been celebrating. Instead, I stood in my ransacked living room, staring at slashed furniture and missing files. Lucy was gone. My favorite suit lay in ribbons on the bedroom floor. On the kitchen counter, a hotel keycard with Rick scrawled in Lucy's handwriting. My phone buzzed with notifications. Lucy's Instagram post had gone viral. "Betrayal in suburbia when your husband can't keep up. Sometimes you have to leave dead weight behind." Empowered. New beginnings. Authentic life. The comments were brutal. Our neighbors, friends, even my daughter Emma had liked the post. 14 years old and already an expert on my failures. I poured myself 3 fingers of whiskey and opened my laptop. Time to do some research. Rick Castellano owned Prestige Motors, the luxury car dealership downtown. His Instagram showed him posing with Ferraris, Lamborghinis, and recently, my wife. They weren't trying to hide it anymore. The photos dated back months. Lucy, in a red dress I'd never seen, leaning against a Maserati. Rick's arm around her waist at some rooftop party I definitely hadn't attended. The captions made me want to punch through my screen. "When you find someone who appreciates the finer things," Lucy had written, under a picture of them sharing champagne. The finer things. I'd worked 16-hour days for 15 years building my company. Apparently, that wasn't fine enough. My phone rang. Troy, my best friend and owner of the local gym. "Dude, what the hell is happening?" My wife showed me Lucy's post. "She left me for a car salesman," I said, surprised by how calm I sounded. "Cleaned out half our accounts too, from what I can tell." "Jesus, Mark, I'm sorry. You need anything?" "Yeah, Rick Castellano's address." "Mark, I'm not going to kill him, Troy. I just want to talk." That was mostly true. I wanted to talk. I also wanted to key every car on his lot, but talking came first. The next morning, I drove to Prestige Motors. Rick was easy to spot, tall, artificially tan, wearing a suit that cost more than most people's rent. He was showing a young couple around a bright yellow Lamborghini, his smile practiced and predatory. I waited in my truck until the couple left, then approached. "Rick Castellano?" He turned, sizing me up with the confidence of a man who'd never been punched in the face. "That's me. You looking to upgrade your ride?" "I'm Mark Thompson, Lucy's husband." His smile faltered for exactly 1 second before returning full force. "Mark!" "Hey man, look, I know this is awkward." "Is it?" I stepped closer. "Because you don't seem awkward at all. You seem pretty comfortable destroying families." "Nobody destroyed anything, buddy." Lucy made her choice. She's a grown woman. Buddy. This guy had been sleeping with my wife for months and called me buddy. "You're right," I said, pulling out my keys. She did make her choice. I walked to his prized red Ferrari, the one from Lucy's Instagram photos, and dragged my keys along the driver's side door. The sound of metal on metal was deeply satisfying. Rick's face went purple. "What the hell?" "Trade-ins welcome," I said, dropping a business card on his windshield. Then I walked back to my truck, started the engine, and drove away. Behind me, Rick was screaming at his employees, demanding they call the police. Good luck proving anything, I thought. The parking lot cameras had mysteriously malfunctioned that morning. Funny how that worked. By afternoon, my phone was exploding with messages. Lucy had posted about the psychotic ex-husband who'd vandalized Rick's property. Emma had shared it with the caption, "So embarrassed. My dad's lost it." My own daughter, I thought. 14 years of bedtime stories, school plays, and soccer games, and she sides with the woman who abandoned us. The doorbell rang. Mrs. Geller from next door stood on my porch, her face pinched with fake concern. "Mark, dear, I saw the news online. Are you doing all right?" "Never better, Mrs. Geller. It's just, well, Lucy's friend Eva was telling everyone at book club that you've been having financial troubles and anger issues. She's worried about Emma's safety. Eva, Lucy's business partner and best friend, the Instagram life coach who'd been filling my wife's head with empowerment nonsense for the past year." "Eva said that?" "She's just concerned. We all are. Maybe you should talk to someone." I closed the door in her face. Then I opened my laptop and started digging into Eva Martinez's business records. What I found was interesting. Very interesting. Eva's company, Authentic Life Coaching, had been funneling money through a series of shell corporations. Money that looked suspiciously like the payments from Lucy's sponsorship deals. Money that should have been going into our joint account. I dug deeper. Eva had been skimming from multiple clients, using their social media success to build her own empire. But the really fascinating part was her connection to my Tokyo contract. 3 years ago, Eva and I had briefly discussed a business partnership. She'd wanted to invest in my security software. I'd turned her down after discovering she'd been lying about her credentials. Apparently, she held grudges. The Tokyo contract had been delayed twice due to paperwork issues. Issues that mysteriously resolved the day after Lucy announced she was leaving me. Someone had been sabotaging my business relationships, feeding Mr. Sato's company false information about my reliability, someone with a grudge and the technical skills to forge emails. My phone buzzed. A text from Emma. "Dad, you're embarrassing us. Just let Mom be happy." I stared at the message for a long time. Then I deleted it and got back to work. The next morning, I drove to Troy's gym. I needed to clear my head before implementing phase 2 of my plan. I was halfway through my workout when Rick walked in. He looked around until he spotted me, then marched over with 2 guys I didn't recognize. "There he is," Rick announced loudly enough for the entire gym to hear. "The psycho who destroyed my car." The gym went quiet. Troy emerged from his office looking concerned. "Problem here?" Troy asked. "Yeah, there's a problem," Rick said. "Your friend here thinks he can vandalize other people's property because his wife left him." I set down my weights and turned to face him. "Your wife know you're here, Rick? Or is she still under the impression that you're a successful businessman instead of a fraud?" "What did you call me?" "A fraud. I did some research on your dealership. Interesting how many of your certified pre-owned vehicles have accident histories you don't disclose. The state attorney general might find that fascinating." Rick's face went red. "You don't know what you're talking about." "Don't I? VIN number 1, G1B, C5SM, 5H7234567. 2017 Camaro. You sold it as accident-free last month, except it was totaled in a flood in Louisiana 2 years ago. I've got the insurance records." The color drained from Rick's face. Around us, gym members were pulling out phones, recording everything. "You're lying," he said, but his voice lacked conviction. "Am I? Want me to call Channel 7 News right now? I bet they'd love a story about luxury car fraud, especially with all the publicity you've been getting lately." Rick stepped closer, trying to intimidate me. "You need to back off, old man." "Lucy's moved on. You should too." I smiled. "You know what's funny, Rick? Lucy thinks you're successful, but your dealership's been hemorrhaging money for months. You're 3 payments behind on your own car loan. The Ferrari I keyed, it's not even yours. It belongs to the bank." How did you... I'm good with computers, Rick, really good. And I have a lot of free time now that my wife ran off with a broke car salesman. Troy stepped between us. All right, that's enough. Rick, you and your friends need to leave. This is a private gym. Rick looked around at the crowd of people recording him, realized he was outnumbered, and backed down. This isn't over, he muttered. No, I agreed. It's not. After they left, Troy pulled me aside. Dude, what are you doing? What I should have done months ago, I said, fighting back. That evening, I received an email from Mr. Sato's assistant. Someone had contacted the Tokyo office, claiming I was involved in a domestic violence situation and suggesting they reconsider our contract. The email had come from Eva's business account. I called Mr. Sato directly. I understand someone has raised concerns about my personal situation. Yes, Mr. Sato said in his precise English. We value stability in our business partners. I appreciate that. I'd like to send you some information that might clarify the situation. What kind of information? Financial records showing how my wife's business partner has been embezzling funds from multiple clients, including attempts to interfere with our contract. I believe she's trying to sabotage our relationship to cover her own crimes. There was a pause. Send me everything. I spent the next 3 hours compiling evidence. Eva's shell companies, the forged emails, the timeline of sabotage attempts. By morning, I had a comprehensive file proving Eva had been running a sophisticated fraud operation. I sent it to Mr. Sato. Then I sent copies to the FBI's Financial Crimes Division, the Illinois Attorney General, and a reporter at the Chicago Tribune who specialized in white-collar crime. My phone rang an hour later. Lucy. Mark, what did you do? Good morning to you too, Lucy. Ava's been arrested. The FBI raided her office. They're saying she stole money from her clients. That's terrible. I hope you weren't involved. Of course I wasn't involved. But they're asking questions about my business accounts, about money Eva helped me manage. I felt a cold smile spread across my face. That sounds complicated. Mark, please. I know we have problems, but Emma needs her mother. If I go to jail, you should have thought about Emma before you decided to destroy our family. I never meant for any of this to happen. Really? Because your Instagram posts suggest otherwise. She was crying now. Rick left. When the news broke about Eva, he just disappeared. I don't know where he went. Probably Mexico. That's where most fraudsters run when the heat gets too high. I'm scared, Mark. I don't have anywhere to go. You made your choice, Lucy. Live with it. I hung up. 2 days later, the Chicago Tribune ran a front-page story. Instagram life coach arrested in multi-million-dollar fraud scheme. Eva's photo was right there next to mugshots and financial charts showing her network of shell companies. The article mentioned several victims, including a local travel influencer who may have unknowingly participated in money laundering activities. Lucy's sponsors began dropping her immediately. Her Instagram comments filled with people calling her a scammer. Within 24 hours, she'd lost 60,000 followers. Emma called that evening. Dad, I saw the news about Eva. Is Mom in trouble? I don't know, sweetheart. That's for the lawyers to figure out. She's staying at a motel now. She says she can't afford anything else. Part of me felt sorry for Emma. This wasn't her fault, but another part of me remembered her Instagram post calling me embarrassing. Your mother made some poor choices, Emma. Actions have consequences, but she's still my mom. Yes, she is, and when she's ready to take responsibility for what she did, maybe we can work something out. What do you mean? I mean, your mother destroyed our family for a man who turned out to be a fraud and a woman who was stealing from her. If she wants forgiveness, she needs to earn it. The next week, I received a call from Rick's former business partner. Prestige Motors was filing for bankruptcy. The The state had suspended Rick's dealer license pending investigation. He'd fled the country, leaving behind millions in debt and a dozen lawsuits. Lucy had been calling me daily, begging to come home. I ignored most of the calls, but I answered when she called on Friday evening. "Mark, please. I'll do anything. I'll sign whatever papers you want. I just need a place to stay until this legal stuff gets sorted out." "Anything?" "Yes, anything. Meet me at the Skyline Bar tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. Come alone." The Skyline Bar was downtown, on the 40th floor of the Hancock Building. It was where Chicago's social media elite went to see and be seen, where Lucy had taken Rick on their first public date, according to her Instagram. I arrived early and reserved a table near the windows. The view of the city was spectacular, but I wasn't there for sightseeing. Lucy walked in at 8:15, looking nothing like the confident influencer from her photos. Her designer clothes hung loose on her frame. Her hair needed styling. The Instagram filters couldn't hide the dark circles under her eyes in real life. She sat across from me, hands shaking slightly. "Thank you for agreeing to meet." "You look terrible," I said. "I haven't been sleeping well." "Guilt will do that." She flinched. "Mark, I know I hurt you. I know I made mistakes." "Mistakes?" I laughed. "Lucy, you didn't make mistakes. You made choices. You chose to have an affair. You chose to steal money from our accounts. You chose to humiliate me publicly. You chose to turn our daughter against me." "I never stole money." "Really?" "Because the FBI seems to think otherwise. Funny how Eva was managing your accounts, and suddenly there's all this money flowing through shell companies." "I didn't know about any of that." "Maybe not. But you knew about Rick. You knew about the affair. You knew you were destroying our family." She was crying now, mascara running down her cheeks. "I thought I loved him." "No, you didn't. You loved the idea of him, the Ferrari, the lifestyle, the image. You loved the Instagram likes more than you loved your own family." "That's not true." I pulled out my phone and opened her Instagram account. "Let's see. Finally found someone who appreciates the finer things." That was posted the day after Emma's soccer championship. The championship you missed because you were with Rick. Sometimes you have to leave dead weight behind. That was our 15-year marriage you called dead weight, Lucy. I was angry. No, you were honest. For the first time in months, you told the truth about how you really felt. I signaled the waiter and ordered another drink. Lucy sat there crying, drawing stares from other patrons. "What do you want from me?" she whispered. "I want you to understand what you've lost." I opened my laptop and turned the screen toward her. "This is our joint account, the one you cleaned out before you left. I've restored the balance." Her eyes widened. "How?" "The Tokyo contract came through, $2 million plus bonuses. Mr. Sato was very impressed with my work, especially after I helped him identify the security vulnerabilities in his system." $2 million? That's just the first payment. The full contract is worth $8 million over 3 years. She stared at the screen, then at me. I had no idea. "Of course you didn't. You were too busy playing influencer to pay attention to my actual business." I closed the laptop. "Here's what's going to happen, Lucy. You're going to sign divorce papers, you're going to accept a minimal settlement, and you're going to disappear from my life." "What about Emma?" "Emma can visit you once she turns 18 and decides for herself whether she wants a relationship with someone who abandoned her family for Instagram fame." "You can't keep my daughter from me." "I'm not keeping her from you. She's keeping herself from you. She's embarrassed, Lucy. Her friends all saw your posts. They know you called her father dead weight. They know you chose a car salesman over your family." Lucy's face crumpled. "She hates me. She's disappointed in you." "There's a difference." I stood up and dropped a folder on the table. "Divorce papers. Sign them, and I'll give you $50,000 to start over somewhere else. Don't sign them, and I'll let the FBI investigation run its course. Your choice. 50,000? That's nothing. It's more than Rick left you. It's more than Eva's going to have after restitution. And it's more than you deserve. She opened the folder with shaking hands. This gives you everything. The house, the accounts, custody. That's right. What if I refuse? I smiled. Then you can explain to a jury why you were withdrawing money from accounts connected to a federal fraud investigation. You can explain why you publicly humiliated your husband while your business partner was stealing from clients. You can explain why you abandoned your teenage daughter for a man who turned out to be a criminal. You're blackmailing me. I'm giving you a choice. The same choice you gave me when you decided to destroy our marriage. She picked up the pen, then put it down. I need time to think. No. I pulled out my phone. Sign now, or I call the FBI and tell them you're refusing to cooperate with their investigation. You wouldn't. Try me. She looked around the bar at the other patrons pretending not to watch our drama unfold, at the city lights twinkling below us, at the life she'd thought she wanted. Then she signed the papers. I took the folder and stood up. Your check will be ready Monday. I suggest you use it to find a good lawyer. Mark, wait. I turned back. Do you hate me? I considered the question. No, Lucy. I don't hate you. I just don't care about you anymore. And that's so much worse. I walked away, leaving her crying at the table overlooking the city she'd thought would make her happy. Outside, I called Emma. Dad? Hey, sweetheart. Want to get some ice cream? We need to talk about your mom. Is she coming home? No, Emma. She's not. But that doesn't mean we can't build something better. 3 months later, Emma was thriving in her new school. My business had expanded internationally. The house was peaceful. Lucy had moved to Los Angeles, where she was trying to rebuild her social media presence. She had 3,000 followers and no sponsors. Rick was still missing, presumably somewhere in South America. Eva was serving 5 years in federal prison. I never posted about any of it on social media. I didn't need the validation. I had won. I had won. I had won.